This zip line's a bit fast. Where are the brakes on this thing? Oh, my head. Oh. Oh, my God. Oh, there's more of them. Hello there, and welcome back to Pleistocene Park. In the last video, we created a carousel, somewhere to keep our guests entertained. And today, we're going to focus our attention on building a playground, somewhere for the children to enjoy themselves and have some fun, if they're not having enough fun already. So without further ado, let us begin the build of the playground. Rightio, let's make our first obstacle or first ride in our playground. So we're going to make a slide. You can't have a playground without some sort of slide in it. It's like having, I don't know, a cup of tea without a biscuit. You have to have some sort of slide in your playground, and what better than a Mammoth Slide? So here you can see we're just using a drain pipe actually, and we've just extended it and squashed it to look like it's a slide, and we've put it on the back of this woolly mammoth statue here, and you can see we put a platform in, and now we're just going to put these logs in to make a ladder so that you can get up to that platform and then slide down the slide there. And we put two connections of those drain pipes together just so that you don't come flying off the slide and hit the ground. You want to gently slope down, as you're coming to the ground. You don't want to just land on the ground and hurt your back. You might get an injury. So I'll put these smaller logs in here for the steps to climb up to the platform. Lovely. And there we have it. Our slide is pretty much done. We'll put some railings on the side so that the children don't fall off. We don't want any broken bones. And there we go. Lovely. We'll just put some support beams here to make sure that platform is nice and sturdy. And then we'll put on a roof. A little roof on top of that, just to give it a bit more character and almost make it look like you're riding the mammoth, almost like you're on top of it actually riding the beast. We're going to put these ropes here to make it look like the rope is attached to the mammoth's tusks, kind of like what they were doing on the carousel. We tied the rope around the tusks here to make it look like they were pulling the sledge, but here instead it's almost like you're on top of a mammoth riding it. Just imagine that. Imagine if our ancestors, instead of hunting these beasts, they actually managed to tame them like they did with horses. Instead of riding horses, imagine them riding on mammoth back. Imagine pulling those reins whichever way you want the mammoth to go. You'd pull on the right side of the rein on its tusk, and that would make it go that way. You'd be able to turn it. That would be pretty insane. There was actually a movie called 10,000 BC where they show mammoths actually being used to build the pyramids. In the film you can see they're all rigged up with ropes attached to them, and they're dragging these huge boulders to create the pyramids, to help make them. I highly doubt that, but it's quite an interesting idea. But mammoths were around during the time when the pyramids were being built. I find that incredible when you think about that for a moment. As mammoths were roaming the earth, the pyramids were just being built. I find that incredible. Absolutely fascinating. So there you are. We have our slide complete. And speaking of pyramids, we're about to make a climbing frame in the shape of a pyramid. You may have seen these before. They're a bit like a giant spider's web. mainly in the shape of a pyramid like this. There's a big pole in the middle that you can see we put in there, and then all the ropes are attached to it, and you climb up the ropes and try and get to the top, and you can go inside it as well. There's ropes inside and on the outside. It's just a big, huge climbing frame. So this is our second obstacle for the children, and you can see there why the middle looks more like a spider's web. You know, the pattern that's going to make as we put it all the way round. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to make just this side, just this section, and then copy and paste it rather than having to do the same thing all the way round. It would just take forever. So you can make it a lot quicker by just making one section, as long as it's all in one group, and then you can copy the whole group and then just go round all the other three sides of the pyramid. Lovely. So I'm just trying to make sure all these ropes look nice and tidy, nothing's sticking out, and that they're all the right size, and just try and make it look as symmetrical as possible. Lovely, that's coming on nicely. So we've got a nice variety now. We've got something to climb on. So you've got your climbing frame and the slide. The trick is we want to make sure they've got plenty to do, because the last thing we want is them getting bored. You know, we need a lot of stuff, nice variety to keep them entertained. I know there are, prehistoric animals for them to see during the day, but maybe, one day, I imagine you wouldn't just come to this park for one day. I imagine you'd come for a week or two. Maybe one day you just want to have a break. Maybe the parents want to have a break. They can sit down and relax, while the children, they might not want to do that. They're probably going to want to do something. So the children instead can go and play on the play area, while the adults sit down and just chill. So we're just going to copy them now. Lovely. Make sure all the ropes are in the right place, and that looks about right. Copy and paste to the other side. Marvellous. So there we have our rope pyramid climbing frame. Marvellous. So the next thing to build, let's see what we're going to do next. I've just got to make sure all those ropes are definitely connected on that side. There we go, that's better. Okay, next thing we've got to build are some swings. You can't have a playground without some swings. You need a slide, and you definitely need some swings. So we're going to build a frame here, a sturdy frame, to make sure that the swings are secure and that they can take the weight of people. We don't want it collapsing. So we're just putting in that support section there of that beam, and then flatten this piece across, this big wooden beam that's going to go all the way across, and then we will have our swings in between those. So we've got our chain here, so we'll link that chain up to the top of the beam, and what we've got to do is make sure that it's low enough to the ground so people can actually get on top of those swings. Because you've got to remember, they are only children. Adults can come on the playground as well. Everyone is welcome, but you want to make sure the kids can actually get on top of the swing seat. So what I do here, I'm sure, there we go, I get a bench just to give me a sense of scale. If it's the same height as the bench, we should be okay. And children can go on there and swing away. The adults can come with them and give them a push. And if they do fall off, you can see we put some bark flooring down there just in case they do fall on the floor. They've got a nice soft landing, rather than just putting in concrete path. And there you are, the swings are done. That was a quick obstacle to build. So next we're on to the merry-go-round, the roundabout. So all I've done here is put some semicircles together to make a big circle, and then we're going to put these curved beams as railings to stop you from falling off, and a big log in the middle that is going to spin round. So the person on the outside will push the merry-go-round round. Probably a job for one of the adults. All the children can sit inside while the adults push I say that the adults are going to be getting some relaxing time while the children are playing. Maybe not. Maybe the adults will actually be exhausted pushing them on the swings and pushing them on the merry-go-round as well. They actually might be absolutely cream crackered after taking the kids to the playground. But saying that, some adults are really big kids, and I imagine that some of them would absolutely love to go on some of the rides here and just completely mess about and have some fun. So as long as they're enjoying themselves, though, that's all that matters. Now here we're going to build a seesaw. So you can see this is a really easy one to build, just 2 logs at either side, then one in the middle, and then a really big long one that's going to just tilt, so you've got to get that in the centre. And there's your seesaw, nice and easy. And here we're just going to put in some benches where you can sit and have a rest. I imagine that many of the parents will need it after pushing their children on the merry-go-round and on the swings, but also just somewhere where they can sit and just keep an eye on their kids and make sure, you know, that they're behaving, that they're okay, they're not doing anything stupid. And 2 mammoths there as well at the entrance. I think children are more likely to respond to that than a sign if they see 2 big woolly mammoth statues. And then it says play area at the top. They'll be saying, oh, can we go on whatever ride? And also a food shack at the side. I think, you know, after running around, you'll work up quite an appetite. So we're going to have a back section there with that door where you can get into the kitchen area and cook the food. And then we've got the till area and these open windows where you can come up and order your food. An event there just blowing out the smell of lovely cooking food to get everyone's taste buds fired up, so you're more likely to go over and order something if you smell the nice wafting smell of food coming over. And we'll just pop a sign at the side of the shack there. That can be the menu, just telling you what food is on offer at the shack. Now here we're going to build a huge climbing frame. In fact, it's not even a climbing frame really. It's actually like a big assault course. So this is where you can get on at this end. In fact, there's many different areas that you can get on. This is just the first section of it. So you can climb up these ropes and get to the first section. And from there, we're going to have lots of different things for you to do. So you can climb up there and then you can go down this slide. We're going to have 2 slides at the top here. So you can choose which one you want to go down. We're just using the drain pipes again. So you can slide down there. Make sure that those railings actually fit. I don't want anyone to fall for a gap. So we're going to have to stretch those railings there to make sure that they definitely fit. There we go, that's better. And then we want to make sure that the slide, you don't just go straight down to the ground. We want to make sure that you slide down and there is, you know, it gently slopes downwards so you don't hurt yourself. So there's our 2 slides. And then what I want to do here, I want to build a rope climbing platform. So you can climb up the rope or you could slide down. You'd have to be careful when you slide down. We might get a few rope burns. Yeah, I can imagine we'd have a few injuries happening now and again. We might have to make sure that there's a first aid kit in that shack just in case anybody injures themselves. But yes, they can climb up these ropes here. Make sure that that's well supported. We don't want it snapping. And at the bottom, we're going to have a crash mat. I was going to tie the rope round, but it doesn't work unless it's around something circular. So I think it looks okay like that though, I think. So yeah, make sure there's railings here, just so no one falls off. And at the bottom, we're going to put in a big, I'm sure it's a red crash mat that we put in, just in case anyone does fall off. They're falling on a nice flat. They're falling on a nice soft surface. It doesn't matter if it's flat, that's not going to help. So this is our big red crash mat. So if you do fall, don't worry. You can see there how thick it is. You will be safe because you're going to land on that. That will break your fall. And we're just going to put a roof on top of here now, just to give the platform a bit more character. So that's the first section. So you've got ropes to climb up, you've got the crisscross ropes on the other side, and you've got your slides. And then we're going to build another section behind it once we've made sure that the roof is definitely secure. Okay, let's build the next part of the assault course. So I've just lined that other platform up, and here I want to build a rope bridge. Now, these two rope bridges, you notice I'm building two of everything. I just think it will work better just in case there's a lot of traffic. If there's a lot of kids, you know, if one's coming from the other side, they can just go on the other rope bridge there. So this rope bridge, you can see it's just 3 main ropes going across and then all these little ropes attaching to that so that they definitely don't fall through. Oh, we're actually putting some more ropes in just in case they fall through the slits there. That's the last thing we want, a child falling off the rope bridge. So yeah, we're putting all those in there. And again, I'm just going to make that as one section so I don't have to build it all again on the other side. I can just copy and paste and flip that round, and then our rope bridge is complete. There we go. So flip that round. Wonderful. And then we'll just do the same on the other side. Just copy and paste that. But what we're going to do here is we're actually going to put some supports in just to make sure that bridge is definitely sturdy. So we're going to attach these ropes here to the roof to make sure that bridge definitely can take the weight. Goodness knows how many children will be on the bridge at one time, so you need to make sure it's definitely secure. Or maybe a parent needs to go up and you know, get their child. Maybe they won't come down from the assault course, so we need to make sure it definitely can take the weight. So there we go. Those bridges are almost done. Just copy and paste those 2 support ropes. And then in the middle of this, I got an idea. So we'll come back to the assault course in a minute. So what are we building next? Well, we're going to make a sand pit. And this is where the children can get in the sand pit and dig up some fossilized bones. So we're going to fill it with sand there, lovely, and some of it will have been sprinkled all over the place as the children get out and wander around. Just put some wood around the edges there, and here we're just going to put in a mammoth skull, some mammoth tusks, and I know that's a raptor claw, but we're just going to pretend that it's actually a woolly rhino horn. I brought a coelodontar over just to get the horn the right size and shape, put him back in the enclosure, and then we'll put the skeleton that I made from the mammoth graveyard, we'll put that in there. So that's handy. I could just copy and paste that rather than having to make a whole skeleton again. And we'll put a few bins. Oh, and I've just put that in there. God, I'm doing loads of different stuff here. Now we're back to the assault course. So the next section we're going to build, we're going to get these rings here, stretch them, and now we have a tunnel. So you've come across the bridges, and now you have to walk through these 2 tunnels, whichever one you want. We're putting 2 in again just in case there's heavy traffic. And as you walk through these tunnels, I would imagine that they'd start to spin as you put your weight down. They'll start to rotate a little bit like a giant hamster wheel. So as you could even run in it like a hamster wheel if you wanted, if you just started running in one direction. But yes, the trick is just to make it a little bit more difficult to try and get through that tunnel to the other side. So we want to try and make it a bit of a challenge for the children. You know, can they get through this crazy assault course? But we must also think of health and safety. We've got to make sure that we put these railings in and make it you know, as safe as possible. So we just put those in there. Now that's coming on now. Lovely stuff. So, oh, and we'll just put some trees in as well, because we like to immerse you in nature here at Pleistocene Park. And then on to the next section. Now this section is going to be quite the challenge. We need a crash mat for this because some people are definitely going to fall off. We're going to put a wall in here, slope it, and then we're going to add some rocks. This is going to be a rock climbing wall. So different colours are different levels. So some colours are really easy, some colours are very hard. We're putting this one on a slope because that'll be a bit easier to climb up, but next to it we're going to have a wall that's directly going down. So you'll be fighting against gravity a bit more there. That's going to be much more difficult to climb up. So fit those in, lovely. And then we're going to have this black coloured rock here. Now that one looks quite difficult. That looks like a difficult level because there's not much to grasp onto. So you've got to be quite a good rock climber to do that. And here we're just going to have a really easy green one for any beginners. And then we'll just stretch that out to fill in the gaps. And there we have our rock climbing wall. So we've got a nice variety of things here for them to do. Now I've got the rock climbing wall, the tunnels, and oh, what are we doing now? What's this next section? Oh, this is going to be another mini assault course. So this one is just balancing on a log. So you have to try and balance and go along here. And then we're going to have 2 poles with a rope attached to it. This is just so you can hold on to the rope to help you a little bit for balance. And then from there, we move on to the next part of the mini assault course. This is going to be, in fact, what is it going to be? I can't remember which bit this was now. Oh, this is going to be the monkey bars. So we have 2 poles there. We're going to attach these long beams to them. And then in the middle, we'll have these metal handrails. We'll have the metal because we don't want them getting any splinters. And what they've got to do is swing across to the other side. Can they make it, or will they fall off? Oh, and some support beams, of course, to just, you know, make sure it's definitely dead sturdy. And there we go, the monkey bars, wonderful. And then we'll just put a platform on the other side so they can actually get off. And here we have the zip line. So we're just going to build a platform for it first. And we're going to have this huge wire. I'm going to pretend it's a wire instead of a rope. Where you can climb up to the top of here, sit on the seat, and then whiz across to the other side. Some people might want an extra push for that extra power. I don't think you'll need it because it's quite big in itself. If you push off, you're going to get plenty of power. So we're just going to put these logs here as supports because that back log there stood up attached to the actual wire will be taking a lot of pressure there holding that up. So I'll put these in to make sure that it's all sturdy. And we need to make sure the platform is long enough as well because they may be coming from the other side. And we'll just copy and paste the same thing and put it on the other side. There we go. Lovely. And bring that wire all the way across. Marvellous. Great. And then this is going to be your little seat where you can sit on. Just squash this circle. And then you can sit on top of that, hold onto the rope for dear life, and then we're just going to put this little stopper in. That stopper is going to make sure that you don't go flying into the wooden support beam. You certainly wouldn't want that because it probably would give you concussion or a serious head injury. Now here we're going to build a little rope swing. So we've got 2 platforms. Someone can pass you the rope and then you swing across from one platform to the other. And we're just going to put in this structure here that will hold the rope up. And we'll definitely need some red crash mats over here because if you do come flying off, we don't want you to injure yourself if you swing off and then fall into the other platform. So we'll have to put a crash mat on either side of them just to make sure that, you know, there we go. There's our red crash mat in case you do come falling off. We do take health and safety here at Pleistocene Park very, very seriously indeed. And I'm just going to make them a bit higher as well, because I think you're too low to the ground there to actually swing across. So I think it needs to be a bit higher to actually get that effective swing. So there we go, that's a bit better. And we also need to make the actual structure that the rope is attached to a bit taller as well, so you get a bit more of a range of a swing there. I don't think it was tall enough, so we're just going to extend that up as well. That looks a lot better. There we go. And we'll attach this rope to the top, so it looks like it's wrapped round it. Don't worry, it will be knotted on very tightly. And then lastly, some crash mats, just in case you do come flying off and swing into the actual platform. We don't want you knocking your knees into there. So we'll just put them there to add a bit more safety. And we're back at the assault course. So the next section we're going to have is all these ropes that are going to be pulled very, very tightly and crossed across each other. So it's going to be effectively like a massive trampoline. So the kids can try and cross it, or they can jump on it and have a bit of fun. And of course we need to put some ropes at the side to stop them from falling through. And that won't stop them. We need to put some going this way as well. So there we go. We've got our big trampoline. Wonderful. And we'll just copy and paste that. It's a bit more easier than delete the bits we don't need. And there we have it. Lovely. Now this is something I thought of in the middle of the build. I thought, you know what would be good? Having two mammoths either side of the bridge, and as you walk over the bridge there could be a little sensor, and as someone walks past that and knocks that sensor, the mammoths are delayed for so many seconds and then they'll squirt water. So as you're running across the bridge, you'll have to be careful because you might get squirted at by some mammoths. And there you have it. The prehistoric playground is now complete. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this.
Bill's gone missing.
Where did you last see him?
He said he was going on the zip line. Did you hear something then?
Shh, listen.